I'm Tara, a 37-year-old childless working housewife. Today marks our 5th wedding anniversary, and it's also the birthday of my husband Gabe, who is the same age as me. Gabe is a handsome salesman at a well-known company, apparently quite successful, but this often means he's busy with overtime and entertaining clients, leading to us missing each other frequently. Our wedding, due to my weekend work schedule and difficulty aligning our free time, was a modest weekday event with just family and a few friends, strongly preferred by Gabe. So, for this anniversary and his birthday, I asked him to come home early, and I took a half day off. I bought his favorite Wagyu beef steak, wine, and cake, and set the table stylishly. I waited for Gabe to come home. However, despite my insistence on him coming home early, he didn't return. A disappointing email arrived, saying an emergency at work meant he had to stay overnight. I understood work is work. But I was a bit puzzled. He'd said recently he wasn't that busy. After cleaning up, I went to bed. The next morning, I went to work as usual, but my emails and calls to his phone went unanswered. Worried, I called his office, only to be shocked to learn he had resigned 2 days ago and had a new job in a neighboring state. I didn't hear a word about this. I rushed home and found his shoes at the entrance. Entering his room, I saw Gabe packing his belongings into a suitcase. "What's going on?" I asked, astonished. "So you found out already," he said, clicking his tongue and handing me divorce papers. "What do you mean?" As I repeated the same question in confusion, Gabe looked at me coldly and said simply, "Let's get a divorce." "Why? What happened?" I asked. "I'm sick of you not fulfilling your role as a wife. You prioritize work, don't cook, do laundry once a week, and leave the house dusty. I don't need such a wife." I protested, saying I stopped cooking because you always ate out despite the meals I prepared. "Still, a wife's job is to cook and wait." "It's your bad cooking that made me eat out," he retorted. "You used to say my cooking was the best when we first got married." Shuddering at his cold voice, I argued that when we married, we had agreed I would do the laundry and cleaning on my days off, Wednesday and Thursday, as a rule in our household. "Does that mean I should tolerate a dirty house from Friday to Tuesday? Ridiculous." "Hey, what happened to you all of a sudden?" "Frankly, I didn't expect you to still be working after 5 years of marriage. This new job offer seemed like the perfect opportunity to leave." A good opportunity means divorce. Until now, Gabe had never once complained about my job or housework, and there was never any hint of wanting a divorce. "But you never realized how dissatisfied I was. I don't need such a wife. I've rented an apartment near my new job and won't return here." With that, he pushed past me and left with his suitcase, leaving me standing there, stunned. A week later, I attended my high school reunion. I wasn't in the mood, but I had already paid, and with no contact from Gabe, I needed a change of scenery. There, among my classmates, were divorcees and single mothers, all living strong lives. Up until now, I had only wished for improvement in my relationship with Gabe, but then I realized, if we reconciled, I would have to follow him to his new job location. Considering the daily commute to the neighboring state, staying at my current job would be impossible. Moreover, after 17 years of work since junior college and a decent salary, it would be nearly impossible to find a similar income in the new location. Feeling completely rejected by Gabe, I began to consider giving up. What made up my mind was a call from Gabe, hurrying me to move out. We were living in a rental apartment, and Gabe was the tenant. The lease renewal was approaching, and it seemed the real estate agent had contacted him. "I've informed them we'll vacate in a month, so make sure everything is cleared out by then." "I can't believe you made this decision without even consulting me, while I'm still living here." I expressed my dissatisfaction, to which he retorted aggressively, "I'm the one renting this place. I don't need to consult you." Realizing this was going nowhere, I sighed and said, "Fine. I'll clear out my things this weekend or the next." "Not just your stuff. Throw away everything that's left in my room and the furniture too," he demanded. "What?" I snapped, irritated. What are you talking about? This apartment was originally rented by you during your bachelor days, and most of the furniture has been in use since then. And most of the other furniture and appliances were bought with your credit card. I'll take care of the furniture and appliances I mainly used, but naturally, you're responsible for disposing of the rest and the disposal fees. After saying this, I hung up the phone. What a miserly man. He wants to take his precious belongings and leave me to deal with the aftermath. This was the moment I decided to go through with the divorce. Over the weekend, while organizing the closet, I reminisced about the happier times we had since our marriage. Among the belongings were many of Gabe's things. I found his high school graduation album. I realized I had only ever met his friends from university onward. Flipping through his album absent-mindedly, I made an unexpected discovery. After submitting the divorce papers, I emailed Gabe to inform him. A week later, at night, I received a reply from him with a photo. It was a marriage certificate with Gabe and another woman. Shocked, I stared at it, and then Gabe called. Did you see it? What's this about? I asked. Just what you see. I just got remarried to her after our wedding today. You're joking, right? She's super beautiful, wealthy, and has a great personality. Right after divorcing you, she said she wanted to marry me. Here's the proof. Impressive, right? So, you were cheating on me while we were married? I'm popular, unlike you who only cares about work. Oh, and her dad built us a house on their property. I even got a job in her hometown, middle management, but it's a good position. His arrogance about remarrying a wealthy mistress was infuriating. He made it seem like the divorce was my fault, but it was all for his affair. He had been with her for over 2 years. They met at a pub I didn't know, where she was sitting at the next table with 3 other women. She helped clean the drink he spilled on his clothes, which started their interaction. Though she's the same age as us, she looks a decade younger. She wiped my shirt with her fancy handkerchief. According to Gabe, when he took her to a restaurant to thank her, they had a long conversation. He discovered she was a landowner's daughter, who had married through an arranged marriage at her parents' suggestion, but was troubled by her husband's infidelity. She wanted to change for her husband. So different from you. I was smitten. He aggressively pursued her, and she started seeing him while still married. One would normally question how a woman, trying to devote herself to her husband, could be involved with someone like Gabe at the same time. Isn't that odd? But Gabe, blinded by love, didn't see it. A woman must support her man. Someone like you, who prioritizes work over her husband, is not right for me. What? So, I'm supposed to support you when you don't support yourself? I retorted in anger, which seemed to infuriate Gabe too. Ah, I'm glad to be rid of a woman like you. Ella is the best. Ella? Is that her name? Yes, her parents have great taste in naming. Typical of the elite. As I listened to Gabe, smitten and talking about her unusual name, I remembered something. Really, you married such a wonderful woman? You're not lying? Injured in his pride, Gabe boasted, she's the best in terms of family background and personality. Look at her elegant beauty. Playing into my hands, he sent me a picture from their wedding. Ah, there was no mistake, it was her. I couldn't help but burst into laughter. What's so funny about this? This is real proof that we got married. Yes, sure, you did. I couldn't stop laughing. Stop laughing. We're really married, and she's carrying my child. What? No way. I couldn't stop laughing. Ah, you must have gone crazy from the shock of losing me. Gabe interpreted my laughter in his favor. In 3 months, we'll have a daughter. She's bound to be as beautiful as Ella, he said dreamily. Well, even if she looks like you and not her, she'll still be beautiful, I said, holding back my laughter. Gabe is a sweet-looking idol-type handsome man. Gabe seemed a bit panicked. No, it's fine if she doesn't look like me. Hearing this, I burst into laughter again.
Go crazy on your own. Bye, Gabe hung up.
He would eventually understand why I laughed. I was looking forward to that moment. Later, there were some disputes over alimony and property division, but with the help of lawyers, I managed to get Gabe to pay several $1,000s. We agreed that Gabe would pay any alimony to me, not wanting to stress her during pregnancy. 2 years later, I received a distressing email from him.
Please, Tara, I need to talk to you.
Reluctantly, I answered his subsequent call. As expected, it was about the child born between him and Ella.
Children resemble their parents, right?
Of course, who else would they look like? Yeah. She's only about 2 years old, right? She'll change a lot as she grows, I suggested, but he wasn't convinced.
Well, maybe she looks like you? I asked, barely holding back laughter. No, she doesn't. But it's okay if she doesn't look like me, he said, sounding flustered.
Gabe suspected Ella of infidelity and secretly did a DNA test, which confirmed that he and Ella were both related to the child.
Then she's definitely your child.
I tried to end the conversation, but Gabe persisted.
When I told you about Ella's pregnancy 2 years ago, you laughed a lot. Do you know something?
Oh, you remembered that, I said. Actually, Ella and I went to the same high school and were in the same year. Though we were in different classes for 3 years and I didn't know her well, I remembered she was known for being high-handed and having a bad personality, the daughter of a landowner. At a class reunion 2 years ago, her cosmetic surgery was a topic of discussion. Ella had single eyelids, small eyes, a bulbous nose, and a slight underbite, which she was conscious about. After high school, she went to Tokyo and had multiple surgeries at a famous clinic. I hadn't seen her at the reunion, but a friend later sent me pictures of Ella before and after the surgery. The skill of her cosmetic surgeons is impressive. When I told Gabe this, he initially didn't believe it, but then realized he had never seen pictures of her from childhood or her graduation album.
Was I deceived? Damn it! And Ella, she acted so demure while dating me, but in reality, she was the one who had multiple affairs and got divorced, not her husband. I even got alimony demands from several wives. I'll confront Ella.
Maybe you shouldn't, I advised.
Why not? Because the child doesn't look like you, right? Usually, girls resemble their fathers.
Gabe was at a loss for words.
She can't look like you. You've had cosmetic surgery too. How did you? 2 years ago, when I moved out of our rented apartment, I found your high school graduation album. You looked completely different, which surprised me.
I realized why he had never introduced me to his friends from before university, why he insisted on a simple wedding, inviting only a few colleagues. He probably had surgery in university and feared being exposed by his old friends.
It's not bad to have cosmetic surgery, but children tend to resemble their natural faces. You should have thought about that. What should I do? Just be a normal father. The results confirm she's your child.
After saying this, I hung up and blocked his number and email. He was truly narrow-minded to be upset that his child didn't turn out as he hoped. A year later, a friend who had a child the same age as Ella's showed me a kindergarten picture of her child, who was very lovely. It was just that the child didn't resemble the current Ella or Gabe. According to my friend, who became Ella's mom friend, Ella had hoped the child would resemble the post-surgery Gabe. My friend was tired of hearing her complain, I shouldn't have had such a child. What terrible parents they are. Moreover, Gabe was cheating again, and my friend was even consulted by Ella about divorce. Gabe is foolish. If he divorces Ella, he'll have to pay alimony and child support. And with Ella's wealthy background, who knows how much she could demand with a good lawyer. Furthermore, Ella's child is known in the community for her mother's surgery and is being ostracized in kindergarten. It's a relief that her grandparents dote on her, but it's still sad for the child. Well, it's not my concern anymore. I managed to rent a convenient apartment. Being closer to work, I can now do house chores after returning and spend my weekends on personal matters. I've grown closer to a divorced classmate I met at the reunion and am enjoying a peaceful, happy life.